And move that bar. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Detox Divas. I'm so excited for tonight's call, and I'm so incredibly grateful for every one of you that continue to show up for these calls each week. And tonight's call is called Still Accumulating. A while ago, I had done a call on poison before they are born, and it was a call that we talked about with preconception toxation within both the mother and the father. So if you've not seen that video yet, just search for that on my YouTube channel. There's always a search bar up top. But tonight we're going to go forward. I knew, back to school is coming, and being an in-home daycare provider, I know what that's like with the illnesses and stuff. And I've talked to a couple of moms this week that are like, oh yeah, I'm saving my sick days. And I'm like, you don't have to, let's get you some stuff. But I want you to take a look at that backpack there behind me just for a quick second. It's just, an ordinary backpack hanging in an ordinary room, and your child or your grandchild probably carries one pretty similar to that. And every single day it comes home carrying more than homework. And tonight we're going to talk about what actually follows the kids home, not to scare you, just to be aware. And like Jessica said before the call started, she was surprised at the list of toxic substances that we're exposed to every day. Like, she does a great job of working towards that low tox goal. But there's still so many things that pop up and surprise us. And our kids are no different with this, or no different than this. So tonight is not to scare you. It's not to guilt you. It's to just make you aware of what our little kids' bodies have to deal with. Because once you see this, you're not going to unsee it. And you hopefully will become even more passionate about talking to people about this kind of stuff. Maybe making a post once in a while when you see something that shocked you, that, oh, I didn't think about that being a toxic item, and that sort of community and communication creates awareness in our circles. Now, some people will say, well, I've been eating Wonder Bread since I was a child. Well, it's not the same Wonder Bread you had as a child. So for those of you that are new, my name is Tina Heuermann, and I host these calls every single week at the same time, same URL, coffeetalkwithtina.com. I'm a wellness educator, international bestseller, and founder of the Detox Divas, and then my own personal company, I Rose Healing. Detox Divas is a community where we can gather together and talk about these kind of things and educate. And I had to go back in time. I was an in-home daycare provider for 16 years, and those are some of my babies that I got to take care of. That top left picture there, we would play Wrap the Mummy. Everybody would dress up for Halloween. And then I also taught them how to throw rolls of toilet paper into trees because, why not? I mean, that's such a fun thing to do. But for 16 years, I got to hold other people's babies in my arms. What an incredible blessing it was. They were sitting at my table, sleeping under my roof. And as a mother, and I am a grandmother, so when I talk about children tonight, I'm not reading from, a book or anything that someone has handed me. This is coming from my heart. And I want you to know how important kids are. They are just as important in my foundation of what I educate on as, when I talk about my mom or my son's addiction or things like that. So kids are a very big passion of mine. I've spent my whole life loving on them and protecting them. But looking back on like what I fed them, things I used in the house, I didn't know better, right? And so now I get to make a difference and share with you some of the things that I've learned. And hopefully you will make some better choices for yourself, because if the adults in the home are not making those choices, the kids are doomed from the womb, basically, right? So here, let's start. Let's start with these two amazing women. If you have not noticed, we've had some pretty incredible support products coming out for our bodies from the company. And it's because of these two amazing women. The person on the right is Paula Scarcella. She is our CEO, our founder, our visionary. I hear her say all the time, I just want to make an impact. I just want to make an impact. And that is who she is. She leads from the simple drive of helping people build healthier lives, bigger futures, and her leadership has grown a real movement here with some of these people on the call. And if you're a guest tonight, please drop that in the chat. We would love to give you some love and welcome you appropriately, because we're more than just people that are here to learn. We are a community of passionate people that love to help others. And Alexandria Brighton on the left is a master formulator. She's been formulating for probably close to 50 years. We are the exclusive company that is able to brand ourselves with her formulations and her name. And she's founder of the Brighton Institute of Botanical Studies and is the mind behind these formulas themselves. And their commitment to quality is the reason that I can teach this class with total confidence in the products that we'll talk about later. I don't have to guess with my family, and I will not be guessing with yours. So before we begin, let's do a little housekeeping here real quickly, because I honor this every single call just to protect the company and to protect you too. So everything I share tonight is for educational purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. Always consult your healthcare provider before beginning any new health control or health protocol. And keep products out of reach of children, even if they say they're safe, because, like my dog, if she sees a bag of chocolate on the floor, she's probably going to get in there and eat it. So you got to be protective of those little bodies that aren't smart enough really to make the best decisions like we are. So I'm here to educate you, and then you get to make empowered decisions for your own family. And that's how we do things in this amazing community. And you are a detox diva or devo. So let's pick up where we left off after the call that I did from the womb to birth. Okay. On our womb call, we learned something that stopped everyone. The Environmental Working Group found 287 industrial chemicals in the umbilical cords of newborns, not in factory workers, in babies that are fresh, brand new to this world, that are just taking their first breath. And 100% of the cord blood they tested came back positive. 100% of the cord blood came back positive. The placenta filters, but it does not block, which means the toxic load begins before the first breath is ever taken. So tonight, we're going to follow that child out of the womb and into the nursery, into the bathroom, into the kitchen, the school, the bedroom, the car, and the playground, because the accumulation did not stop at birth. It's still happening and it's still accumulating. So picture the day, if you've got kids or you know somebody that has children, picture the day you or they brought their baby home. I remember it like it was yesterday. In fact, when my daughter came home, my husband had a white stretch limo sitting outside the hospital for us, because nothing was too good for his ladies. And but the nursery, you poured your heart into, you decorated, you hung on the wall, you found the right, everything was right. All the diapers were lined up. Everything was absolutely perfect in their freshly painted walls, brand new furniture, brand new crib mattress, the car seat you researched for weeks and asked opinions on. And here's what nobody told us. Every single one of those items is gassing volatile organic compounds into the air that the baby is breathing when it's sleeping. The paint, the particle board, the foam, the fabric finishes, the Dreft laundry detergent. If you have not looked up the toxology report on Dreft baby laundry detergent, I highly encourage you to do that when you get off this call. All of that is releasing chemicals into that sweet little room. And if somebody, my moderators could mute, I'm hearing some background noise. So the most toxic air in a child's life is often the first air they ever breathe. We did everything right by the standards we were given, and the standards were the problem. So let's start with one family of chemicals you've heard me mention before, possibly flame retardants. They are added to crib mattresses, nursing pillows, car seats, strollers, high chairs, upholstered furniture, basically everything your baby touches, sleeps on, and rides in. And many of those compounds are endocrine disruptors, which means they interfere with the hormone system that runs the child's growth and development. And here is what really matters. They do not stay in the product. They migrate out into the house dust and into the air. And who lives on the floor, right? On that carpet, that brand new carpet maybe you had installed because it was too dirty for that new baby to come home to. So the babies crawl on that. They lay on that. Sometimes they sleep on it. These chemicals migrate out into the dust, the air filter. It circles through the house, gets in every room. And babies put everything in their mouth, right? Our babies, our infants, they receive a disappropriately higher exposure than adults simply because of how they live in their little world. So baby shampoo, let's walk into the bathroom with me. Because this one kind of hits home. I use Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson has got lawsuits. They've settled lawsuits because of the chemicals that are in their safe baby products. So most conventional baby shampoos, lotions, wipes, powders contain those synthetic fragrance, preservatives, and petroleum-derived ingredients. That's what we're talking about with the petrochemical detox or the petro-derived ingredients. And here's the loophole that kind of makes my blood boil a little bit. The word fragrance on a label can legally represent a blend of hundreds of undisclosed chemicals, many of which are known endocrine disruptors and ones that cause cancer. Hundreds of chemicals, and the company does not have to tell you a single one of them. All they have to do is say fragrance. And remember, the skin of an infant is much thinner than yours, and it's more permeable than adults. So absorption rates are so much higher. So that sweet smell and lotion is not just sitting on the surface. Those chemicals are going into their bloodstream. Sippy cup and food pouches. Okay, into the kitchen. Let's walk in there. So how many of these have passed through your home or your adult children's home? Because I could not even count how many times, my daycare kids were raised with those two-handled sippy cups. Think of bottles, right? You are heating, if you're doing formula for the babies, you're heating a plastic bag filled with formula that has chemicals. You're heating that bag. We learned last week what happens when plastic is heated up. Those chemicals leach into that liquid. Like, I'm so mind blown over this. If you're shocked about this and I never even thought about that, let me know in the chat. So the food pouch things, they weren't around when I was doing daycare. They weren't around when I was raising my babies, but I have seen my grandkids with it. So plastic sippy cups, baby bottles, food pouches, plastic plates, because you don't want to give them a glass plate. They're going to throw that on the floor. Snack bags. Let's talk high chair trays, right? They're plastic too. BPA and its substitutes phthalates microplastics with every meal and every single snack. And when these plastics are heated, like I said, even in the dishwasher, the rate of that chemical leaching increases significantly. So the very act of sanitizing the sippy cup is accelerating what's leaching out. And children eat and drink more relative to their body weight than adults do, pound for pound. Their exposure is a lot higher. So same juice, same cup, much bigger impact on their tiny little bodies. So the processed food problem, I know it's quick and easy. Let's open that lunchbox. The average child's lunchbox contains packaged crackers, juice boxes, flavored pouches, processed lunch meat, snack items, and each of these contain food dyes, preservatives, artificial flavors, seed oils, and high fructose corn syrup. Now, we learned last week that children are developing fatty liver diseases. And it is because of this situation right here, the food that they're eating. And they're all packaged inside of plastic. And so then you're adding that BPA, the phthalates, the microplastics on top of the food that is already chemically processed. And by lunchtime on a school day, a child may have accumulated dozens of individual chemical exposures before noon, before recess, dozens. And we call this normal because we don't know any better. So that's what tonight is about. I'm hoping that you're going to walk away with this with, oh my gosh, I have got to tell the world about this. The world is going to come around again. I mean, tonight, we're going to talk about this. So hold on to all of this. Now let's talk about school itself, because our kids are getting ready to go back, right? And they're going to spend 8 hours a day inside that building. And most school buildings contain synthetic carpeting, which off gases those VOCs, traps chemical-laden dust. Older schools are going to have a mold issue. The cleaning products used in schools are often commercial grade, which is even stronger than what we're getting at home, and heavily fragranced. Whiteboard markers, art supplies, adhesives, they add more of those VOC exposures on top of that. And the EPA itself estimates that indoor air quality in school is often 2 to 5 times worse than outdoor air. And that's not me saying it, that's the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. So 2 to 5 times worse. Our children breathe this for 8 hours a day, 180 days a year. All of that. Hand sanitizers. The drinking fountain, right? We know what is in our water, especially in Iowa. It's been all over the national news with the nitrate levels. Now the room that gets me, their little bedroom, right? So they spend 10 to 12 hours in their bedroom every single night. Mattresses are going to off-gas those flame retardants, and the petroleum-based foam compounds in the first, most heavily in the first years of use, which is exactly why we buy them new, right? We buy them new because we don't want other people's germs in the baby's room, but what we're doing is we're exchanging that for the off-gassing of the brand new furniture. Synthetic stuffed animals. Oh, that's the hard one, because nothing like a nice little softie for those babies when they're not feeling their best, right? Polyester bedding, plug-in air fresheners, wax warmers, all of it adds fragrance and chemicals and VOCs to that sleep environment. And their bedroom is where their body is supposed to be doing the deepest repair work while they're sleeping. We've seen that traditional Chinese medicine clock on the Detox Divas before, where all of the organs take turns throughout the night repairing itself. And while that child is sleeping in that bed or in that crib, it's breathing in all of these chemicals while the body is trying to rest and repair. So that is probably one of the most chemically loaded rooms that the kids are exposed to on a daily basis, and they spend half of their 12 of their hours of their day there. Car seats, you guys. Car seats. They are required to meet flame retardancy standards, which means they contain the flame retardant chemicals. There's no way around this. It's built into the law. You have to have that. New car seats off gas at their highest rate when they're new and when they're hot. So if you have a brand new baby, or somebody having a brand new baby, let's get some of that off gassing out and just set it outside in the fresh air if it's not raining, for a little bit, so that it can kind of get rid of some of that and put it into our environment. But it's better than having it be right there next to the baby's skin, right? But studies have found that children in car seats during warm weather are exposed to significantly elevated concentrations of that flame retardant and the plastic-derived compounds. You got the buckle, you've got the frame that is built for stability. Those are petrochemicals, and so that's going to heat up and release those chemical compounds also. So nobody's telling us to stop using the car seats. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you this is just one more stream filling that same bucket, and we need to know that it's there. Like we have to use those car seats. We've got to keep those babies safe. But just know that that is going on. And so ensuring that you're taking away other areas in that kid's life to make it so that, okay, this is just a minor thing. I have to do this one. This one's part of that 80-20 rule, right? This is the 20% you can't avoid. So the playground, right? Even the playground. So most of the playgrounds and parks use that rubber mulch from recycled tires. Tire rubber contains hundreds of chemical compounds, including benzene, lead, cadmium, and other heavy metals that leach into the soil and into the air. And so children who play on those surfaces touch it, breathe it, sometimes put it right in their mouth. I know that was my daughter. She put everything in her mouth because that's just what little kids do. And then you have the pesticides that are routinely applied to the grass at the parks and school grounds. So the green space is not really natural either. So play is sacred. Childhood is sacred, and the ground under their feet was an afterthought to the people who built it. And even looking at that playground picture right there, you've got the paint. I would love to know. In fact, I'm going to find out what kind of paint is used. And if you know, put that in the chat for me, to paint the metal structure of that playground. But then you've got the plastics that heat up in the hot summer temperature when most kids are at the playground. So let's put together an ordinary day for a child, start to finish. Just a normal day. So morning or night, you got the baby shampoo, you got the lotion at bath time. You've got breakfast in plastic dishes, the car ride to the school in an off-gassing car seat, not to mention the seats and the carpet within the car, maybe a car fragrance if you're not using an essential oil diffuser. Lunch from plastic packaging, playground time on rubber mulch, the car ride home, homework at a new synthetic desk, dinners reheated in plastic containers, and bedtime in a flame retardant treated room, and their pajamas if they're not cotton or linen, and if they've been washed in traditional laundry soaps, dryer sheets, things like that. That's one day. That's one completely normal, well-run day for this child, and every single line on that list made a deposit into that child's body. Nobody chose this. I didn't choose that for my children. Some of these we can't choose. The child certainly didn't choose it. And it arrived just one product, one chemical, one convenience at a time until it became the water that we all swim in, and which is normal, right? It's the normality of life. So now we're following everything that goes into the child's body. So we're going to take a look at this. These are honest, real numbers. In 1980, children followed the US scheduled received 23 vaccine doses, 7 shots against 7 doses, plus 4 oral polio doses. Okay, that was in 1980s. By 2024, the schedule included 84 to 88 vaccine doses delivered through 57 to 71 different injections. And then the RSV antibody is included, and that number can reach 72 injections before the age of 18. So from 23 to 88 within our lifetime. And most parents have never seen those two numbers side by side because nobody ever puts them really side by side. I know I have. I talk about this. This community asks the question the mainstream refuses to ask, and it's simple. What is the total load on the developing body? What is that doing to their developing body? I know several women whose children have been affected by this in a very adverse way. And every stream counts. So these chemicals, on top of everything else that we've already talked about, everything going in counts. And you deserve to see the whole picture, whether you're pro or against. These are actual numbers that are a compounding effect to everything else. So the source for those numbers is right there at the bottom. It is the HHS assessment of the US childhood schedule, which is January 26th. I know some things are kind of changing right now. And you can check mark that yourself too. So the gut lining in a development child, we talk about this, right? We haven't talked about the gut in a while. So I feel like we need to get a call going on that also, because that's been probably a year or more that we've talked about the gut lining. Very, very important part of this. What does all of this mean? These past slides that we've talked about so far, what does this all mean inside that child's body? Because a child is not just a small adult. Their bodies handle the load differently, which is why you will see not for children on some of our products. And this is where the science gets really important. Children have more permeable gut lining than adults. Their phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox enzymes, the very machinery of clearance within their body that helps get rid of that, it's not fully developed until they're adolescent. So that's why when someone will ask me, well, I want to detox my child. Well, that's nice, but they really can't detox like we do because their bodies can't detox like we do, which makes all of these other chemicals even more of a situation for them. So their kidneys are smaller relative to body weight. Their blood-brain barrier is still maturing through childhood. And all of this means that that same exposure produces a much larger effect in a child's body than it would in an adult. Same chemicals, right? Same exposure. I'm getting the same exposure that my grandkids are getting, but they're smaller bodies. Their less developed detox pathways has such a much bigger impact on them than it would on me. So here is a piece most people have not talked about or heard of. It changes the way kind of I see childhood weight struggles. And as children grow, they are producing these new fat cells. And the petrochemicals are fat soluble. They are stored in these fat tissues. So a growing child is literally building a new storage capacity for the fat soluble compounds that they're accumulating in their lifetime because their detox pathways cannot get rid of them. And we have a hard time getting rid of petrochemicals, right? And so if their detox pathways are underdeveloped and they have these petrochemicals coming in, they're developing brand new fat cells for their growing bodies. The fat cells are filled with these toxins. And this is one of the reasons that researchers believe that environmental chemical exposure is contributing to that childhood obesity. And the body is expanding the fat tissue in part because there's more to store. So the body's doing exactly what a wise body is going to do with a toxin it cannot clear. It tucks it away in the fat to protect the organs. So before we shame a child or a parent about weight, we better ask what that body is protecting itself from. And then we have the brain. The blood-brain barrier is a protective filter that limits what can enter the brain from the bloodstream. And in children, this barrier is still maturing and it is significantly more permeable than in adults, meaning things can cross into that blood-brain barrier, into their brain, more so than us as adults that has a fully developed blood-brain barrier. Fat-soluble compounds can cross the immature blood-brain barrier more easily, and endocrine-disrupting chemicals can alter those hormonal signals the developing brain uses to even wire itself. So childhood is the window where the brain is literally under construction, which means it's also the window where interference has the most lasting lifetime impact. And this is why this conversation can't wait until they're grown. And this is why I hope that you will talk to some of your mamas or at least share this video with them. So let's step back and look what is happening to a whole generation. ADHD diagnosed increased 87% between 1997 and 2022. Autism spectrum disorder prevalence rose from 1 in 150 children in 2000 to 1 in 31 children just 22 years later. Childhood obesity tripled between 1970s and 2018, and early puberty onset has shifted significantly earlier in both boys and girls. Child cancer rates have increased 33% since 1975. These changes happened way too fast to be generic. Genes or genetic genes do not change in one generation. Something in the environment changed, and that is not that's not conspiracy. That is a timeline. And we just spent the last 20 minutes walking through exactly what changed room by room and product by product and food products. So you've heard me teach on the bucket. So here it is for our kids. Children have a much smaller bucket capacity and a less developed clearance system and a higher proportional daily exposure than adults. They breathe more air per pound of water weight. They eat more food per pound of body weight. Their skin absorbs at a higher rate, and their developing organs cannot process the incoming load as effectively as an adult's mature system can. Smaller bucket, faster faucet, slower drain. And this is the whole story of this generation's health in 3 short sentences. I'm gonna have to put that on a graphic. And when the bucket overflows, it does not look like a chemical problem. It looks like rashes, attention struggles, gut issues, mood swings, exhaustion. It looks like all the things that we have been told that are just normal childhood now. And here's that word again, normal. This is not normal. So what do we do? Because
stop him from going around Kenya's house. Now she calls it to pick him up. Right.
Coach Charlotte, there we go. Thank you. Sorry, Charlotte. So what do we do? Fear does not heal anyone. And so I did not bring you here to put fear in you. Action plus awareness is what makes a change. And we cannot eliminate every single exposure. But we can make meaningful reductions in the highest impact of daily sources, swapping out those personal care products. Our lavender bar soap would be absolutely perfect for a brand new baby, right? Hair and body. It's toxic free. That would be one of the things that everyone that is having a baby should get is a couple lavender, a little gift basket with that in there. Removing the synthetic fragrances from the house.
Got in there.
Removing the synthetic fragrances from the home. Get rid of those air those wall plug-ins. Get rid of the candles. The candles have got toxins in them. Choosing glass over plastic for food storage. I had somebody that was on one of the calls. As soon as the call was done, she went to Amazon and purchased some glass food storage containers. And that just filled my heart to know that somebody that what I taught made such an impact that she changed that immediately. So those glass storage containers are going to be great. Filtering the water, opening the windows, and choosing organic produce. Organic produce is so dumb that it's more expensive, but the kids deserve to have that organic produce. Find a way to fit that into your budget. Every swap is going to reduce that daily load for them. Every single one slows down that faucet that's filling that bucket that cannot dislodge any of those toxins like we can. And none of them require perfection. This is not about perfection. This is about awareness, making decisions, and then making another decision, and then another decision. And that's how a family changes its normal, by getting rid of those things. So the body can clear with the right support. And this is the great part of it, because the body is not helpless. And got it? Okay, thank you. And so this same clearance system that we support in adults needs the support in the children too. The liver, the lymphatic, the gut, the kidneys. Whole food nutrition provides the cofactors these systems need. Adequate hydration with clean water. The elimination pathways open. Sleep is when the deepest repair and clearance work is going to happen. And targeted botanical support can help open the pathways that daily toxic load has congested. And that's that terrain health that I talk about all the time in just one sentence. So we don't fight the body around here. And that's what I love. We provide tools and resources to help support the body, support the terrain, and the body is going to do what it's naturally supposed to do. So let's kind of walk through this here real quick. So it is the detox protocols that we do are not geared towards children. Again, that is because their detox pathways are not open, like ours are. So we have to make sure that we make those choices. As a family, it is a family protocol. So you can make choices where you can and become that household rhythm. So every member of the family gets supported at their level the body is ready for. This is not putting children through an adult protocol, because that's just not safe. So the adults can run the detox programs, the 21-day petrochemical detox that's coming up September 8th. And I'm going to show you that kit in a minute here, but the children are going to receive gentle, age-appropriate support, and the whole household shares the daily reduction together. So there was one day, it was Earth Day. I think my daughter was in elementary school, and she was very passionate at that time about, so it's so weird that she was so young, such an old soul. But for Earth Day, she wanted to shut the power off to the house for 15 minutes. She must have learned it in school. So we made a big deal about it for Earth Day. We went downstairs. I shut the breaker off for the entire house. It's a power box. I know how to flip the switches. Don't know much more than that. And then we waited 15 minutes, turned it back on. We celebrated her being so environmentally conscious. And it was really kind of cool how quiet the house actually was. Unfortunately, when it turned back on, the power surge of that coming back on fried my computer. But it was worth it for her to experience that. So, our children do not do, let's say our children do not do what we say, they do what we do. Okay. And when they watch you drink your tea, filter your water, read your labels, and take care of your body, you're not just cleaning your own toxic burden, you're teaching them what normal looks like. Organic is normal. Everything else is not normal. And that's the biggest thing that I hope you walk away with tonight. Organic is normal. Everything else is not normal. So we have to set this example first. And that is how a family is going to heal from the inside out and from the top down. So the system that is going to protect these little babies is the gentle support that they need, right? Because children, like I said, detox pathways, they're still developing. A full childhood detox protocol is not what we do. And anytime you start talking about that, then certain governmental agencies can kind of take a closer look and start getting all up in the business. But what they need is steady, gentle, daily support for the systems that keep them resilient through everyday classroom exposure. And that's what that back to school kit is about. Okay. The fulvic acid mineral drops daily are going to support that cellular health, nutrient absorption, plus it's going to help gently detox that baby's body. And it's kind of dosed by age. I do have a photo of suggested milligrams per pound that I put together that I will share with the replay later so that you have access to that. And this is also going to provide the daily immune support. The Kids Tribe Remedy is there for targeted seasonal support when they need it. So if they do end up not feeling well, that Tribe Remedy is going to kind of kick in and be that heavy artillery army that comes in and helps that body. And the optional add-on, which I highly suggest would be Soul Superfood. And that brings in that whole food nourishment plus gentle love for the detox pathways as it's developing. And so that would be what I would say would be a daily for the children, not the Tribe Remedy. Again, that's targeted support. But the Kids Wellness, the fulvic acid, and the Soul Superfood is what I would give to my children to help support their body to be healthy. It's gentle for them. It's thorough for us. And then again, those shared reductions of exposures everywhere. And then every member of the family supported at their level, their body is ready for. Adults, children can take Soul. Adults, children can take fulvic. There is a Tri-Remedy and a Kids Wellness that is good for adults, which is a higher dose. It's undiluted. Again, children's bodies are so much different, so we have to be very careful with what we give them. So for every single one of you on the call, we, as a group, every one of you is going to be doing a petrochemical detox, and we begin Tuesday, September 8th. And it's going to run through September 28th. So it's going to be 21 days, all of us together, walking it out side by side, sharing our wins, troubleshooting together, and cheering each other on. Now, again, I've not done this detox protocol before. I've never looked at it before. I don't know why I've not looked at it, but I'm so stoked about this. The liver cleanse is amazing to get those detox pathways open. This one is going to go in and target those forever chemicals. They're called forever chemicals because they're forever in your body unless you actively work to get them out. Okay. That's what this protocol is about. It's removing those petrochemicals from your body, those forever chemicals that are stored in the fat cells. So your step tonight, if you have not done so already, you have until I made a post the other day. I have corrected the post, but I wanted to make sure I brought it up on the call. I don't know why I thought Friday was the last day that we could order this kit. I don't know what I was thinking. September 1st, if you do an auto ship on the 1st of September or any time before that, your kit will arrive in time to do the cleanse with us. It starts on the 8th. And if you miss a day or two, you can pick right up with us a day or two late. That's not a problem. And I should have a screen on this up here, but I don't. But when you order through Zalara on auto ship, you're going to get 5% off. You're also going to get 10 $25 gift cards on this kit to share with others. I mean, this is an important call. So I hope that you will be sharing those gift cards with other people that have little children. Again, children are my passion, and they are our future. So we have to teach them these simple things about detoxing and making normal choices with organic living. So get that ordered. And then if you don't have an account yet, whoever invited you to the call tonight or whoever shared the replay with you is your contact person. and then they will get you added into the group where all of the education is going to be taking place. It's a fun environment. I know Coach Marcus and Coach Kimberly and several other people in the company post a lot of fantastic educational stuff in there. There's lots of questions that can get answered in there. If you've got a question, you can post that. So let's get your family taken care of. Let's do this together. Let's set that example of what normal looks like. So this is the kit. I will be walking you through this in a video on how to do this, what to do this, one product at a time, how to set it all up, everything. So the holy basil tea that you see in there, that's going to support the liver morning and night, and it's gentle, it's grounding, and it becomes a ritual you're actually going to look forward to. Holy basil has tons of amazing benefits. I've done a couple calls, I think, on holy basil, and then Tulsi Trim is the one for the weight loss, but it's basically holy basil with a couple added patented ingredients that help burn fat and boost the metabolism. But holy basil comes in this kit. Then we have the adrenochrome and citrus joy topical blends that support the adrenals, the lymphatic, and that's going to be applied right to the skin morning and night. And then pink grapefruit in your water is going to activate that lymphatic drainage all throughout the day. So if you make your holy basil tea, just put your pink grapefruit drops in there. So we're covering the liver, the adrenals, the lymphatic, the drainage, every pathway that we talked about tonight is supported every single day for 21 days. And I cannot wait to see how everyone feels when this is done. So not only are you going to be losing the toxins that are in your fat cells, you're going to be, it's releasing the fat cells that are holding these toxins. So make sure that you download the product information page, because there is a place on there where just as important as taking this and doing this protocol every day is going to be measuring yourself, because those fat cells are going to be released with those toxins. It's not going to just release the toxins into your body. It's going to still protect them in that fat cell. So the kids information kit, I would add that on. If you're brand new and have never had a gift card before, you can get the Petrochemical Detox, and then ask whoever shared this with you for a $25 off gift card. Throw in that back to school kit for the kids. Okay, great combo right there. You're still going to, you can't use the gift card on auto ship, but that's going to be a great combo for people. So what you learned tonight changes what you will do tomorrow. And I know that many of you cannot unsee the nursery, the bathroom, the lunchbox, the playground the same way. And I know that kind of feels heavy. But as you know, awareness is the key, right? We have to be aware of what these babies are being exposed to. We have to reduce what's coming in. We have to support what needs to clear, give the body what it was designed to do with the right tools. And so here is my heart for you tonight. Somewhere along the way, we let poison become the normal. Plastics at every meal became normal. Fragrances in every room became normal. Dozens of chemical exposures all day, every day, while we're sleeping, while we're eating, in the lunchroom, in the nursery, in our carpet, everything became normal. And an entire generation of struggling kids became normal. So not in this community, because we are done normalizing what's poisoning our families, and we are starting a new normal together. Real food is normal. Clean air in our homes is normal. Mamas and grandmas who read, and grandpas and daddies who read labels, that's normal. People that support their bodies with quality supplements and nutrition is normal. And a healthy lifestyle is not just extreme, it's normal. You guys, a healthy lifestyle is normal. And if you're doing anything less than that, you're not only shortening your own life, you're shortening your time with the people that love you. Okay? So reach out to the person who invited you tonight, get your kits ordered, start saying yes to your health, because You matter. You're important. You're important to me, and you're important to somebody that lives in your house or that was raised with you. You're important. You matter and you're worthy. So I will see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. And I look forward to our next topic. I love you all.